Greetings, brothers and sisters. So, one of my viewers sent me this. This is a picture from the big one yesterday, the video I did, and the two dudes from the movie White Chicks. There's surprising similarities. Okay, a bunch of celebrity stuff to get here. Let's start with the royal family. The royal family. Queen Elizabeth is fading away before our very eyes. Well, she's only about 200 years old. they're tightening up on the the AC. Wow, huh? She ain't gonna be around much longer. Prince Charles is rearing up to take her spot, wearing those house coats, and who the heck is that? There she is. She's looking rough. There's that dude. That dude's going places. Anyways, Prince Charles took bags stuffed with millions in cash from controversial Qatari sheikh, report says. Remember when he just apologized for colonialism and all that? He's getting bags full of cash from Qatar, from some sheikh. Prince Charles personally accepted suitcases and shopping bags stuffed with millions of dollars worth of cash from a controversial Qatari politician between 2011 and 2015. Everyone felt uncomfortable about the situation. The only thing we could do was to count the money and make mutual record of what we'd done, the source said, and then call the bank. He came toting stacks of bills totaling 3 million euros or $3.2 million in today's exchange rate. So that happened. Ezra Miller allegedly housing 3 children, their mother at weapon-filled farm. I don't know what the problem is here. I don't know what they're complaining about. Ezra has a lot of child-friendly outfits like this one. Ezra Miller allegedly housing a young mother and her 3 small children at Vermont, which is allegedly littered with firearms, ammunition, and marijuana. 2 of the sources expressed concern for the safety of the children, aged to be 1 and 5, alleging that there are unattended guns strewn around the home, which lies on the Fantastic Beasts star's 96-acre property in Stanford, Vermont. What dad going through a divorce wouldn't want his estranged wife and their kids, their toddler-age kids, staying with this stand-up citizen, right? There's Ezra wearing some child-friendly skull attire for the babysitter on the go. So that's Ezra Miller. Mike, the Situation Sorrentino, owes $2.3 million in taxes after a prison stint. So he's got another situation, right? This rocket scientist. So he owes a lot of back taxes. Oh, I meant to show you this as well. Kate Middleton dons full military gear during Armed Forces Training Academy visit. Look at big old smile, big old smile. It's an absolute joke, but they love their military so much. So this person, Evan Rachel Wood, somebody sent me, there's a documentary called Rising Phoenix Rising or something, about her story about how Marilyn Manson abused her. And, I don't like Marilyn Manson, and I'm sure he's guilty of a lot of things, but I don't like her either. There's something about her that, it's just like it's such a crap show in Hollywood. But apparently she was playing Madonna, and this is their exchange.
She really, she was very nasally, and everything she said was very intentional. And she disarms everyone that interviews her by just sort of looking at them.
Wow. And have you talked to Madonna? Does Madonna know you're playing her?
They'll laugh.
No!
Are you scared?
I'm a little scared.
Look are you scared? You're scared of playing Madonna?
It was like halfway through filming, and I just assumed, well, they've obviously cleared this with her. And then halfway through filming, I looked at them. I was like, so you guys obviously, you talked to Madonna, how'd it go? And they were like... I was like, oh, great, thanks, guys. You just put me on, bad terms with Madonna.
Look at his fake laugh. Jeez, Jimmy.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the bad side of Madonna, man. No.
You don't want to be on the bad side of Madonna, Madam Expiration Date. She sucks the soul right out of your mouth. And so, right like that, she's getting ready. Here comes Madonna to suck your soul. So, I watched this trailer for one of these trailers for Thor, Love and Thunder. And, you know, I think of when I was a kid, when I read Marvel comic books, Thor was one of my favorite comics. And I've liked the Thor movies because they're a little bit lighter, but this one looks horrible. You know, the second generation of Marvel universe is a complete mess, right? Because of the liberal stuff and just all of it. And the way they ended that movie was just too long, and just kind of it was kind of a swing and a miss. So this happened in the trailer. There they go, these guys right here.
Giant goats.
Oh, look at those. They are wonderful.
Yes, they are. They also scream quite a lot.
We have giant goats. Then there was these Freemasonic handshakes.
Human handshake. It's the Asgardian shake. Into the snake.
Into the snake.
You cannot trust. Really dragging this out. And finish the classic Asgardian high one.
All right, so that's going to suck. They're doing snake handshakes, and they got giant goats. They just slap it. They're just throwing everything up against the wall, hoping that something sticks. Okay, so this is one truth-telling news journalist, Jake Tappas, man of the somber tie and the whiny face. And he's interviewing, this guy from Great Britain. You'll know who he is. The Prime Minister. We'll get his name in a second. I forget it at the moment. But I was watching this morning, and there's a great moment at the end of the interview. So I went and grabbed it on my YouTube TV, and I went back a little bit. I haven't seen this part, but I think it'll be entertaining. And again, there's this great reveal at the end.
Disruption, slow wage growth. Is the UK better off than it was 6 years ago when you left the EU?
It is, and we've got what we've been able to do. Let me give you an example. Thanks to the position that we took, we had an independent medical agency that was able to make sure that the first COVID vaccine first approved COVID vaccine in anybody's arms in the world was in the UK. We then had the fastest vaccine, and that was because we were outside something called the European Medicines Agency.
So you admit you couldn't have done it if otherwise?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's really ghouling it up. He's claiming something that's being something he's taking credit for isn't the best, but he just said correctamundo.
Correctamundo.
Okay.
Correctamundo.
Okay.
Correctamundo.
Okay.
Yes.
Correctamundo?
Correct.
You're quoting Fonz?
That is right. Secondly, we've been able to do a lot of free trade deals around the world. We're able to change some of our regulations. We've taken back control of our borders. We're no longer spending shed loads of money on projects that we couldn't control. And
So it was a good decision.
yeah, and I'll give you one other example. Back to Ukraine for a second.
No, that's not. Him and Jake Tappa, this is quite a winning team. They should be on like some sort of version, like a new version of The Odd Couple.
I don't think that the UK within the European Union and within the kind of matrix of the common foreign policy and security policy that we then had, I don't think that we would have been out in front as the first European country to arm the Ukrainians, to give them the wherewithal to protect themselves. And I think that speaks to a country that is thinking about things differently, that is thinking about the world with a more global perspective. And
Wait a minute, you just left the European Union. This is about defending your decision to leave it, which I could care less either way, right? Like, I'm not into politics, whatever, right? But you're leaving them to be a more individualistic country. You're leaving the European Union because you think you'll be better off without being a part of the European Union. But now you're saying you're thinking more globally? Like all this stuff that he's claiming to be good things are actually bad things.
Is ambitious. It doesn't mean we're less European.
Right.
We're still European, but I think we have a more global approach.
So we're here at the G7, a gathering of the world's leading democracies. When I talk to friends in Canada, the UK, Australia, and elsewhere, people express concern about the United States about the United States in terms of our ability and our institutions to thrive and continue after what happened with the election of 2020.
Come on, Chuck. I don't believe you. Chuck. Come on, Chuck. Like, it's not cool, Chuck. I mean, Chuck, like, you've been talking to people and that's what they've been saying to you, Chuck. Come on, Chuck. We don't believe you, Chuck.
Just a reminder, I'm Jake, not Chuck. They worry that democracy is on life support in the United States. People might not know this about you, but you were born in the United States, and until recently,
I was.
And
I was born in New York City.
As was I.
A fantastic place. Jake, where were you born? Where were you born in New York?
Where was Staten Island?
All right. Okay. I was born in New York General Hospital. Anyway.
Are you worried at all? Do you look?
No. I want to say this to the people of the United States. I'm not. I think that I just get back to what I've been trying to say to you throughout this interview. I think that reports of the death of democracy in the United States are grossly exaggerated.
This guy is most certainly a ghoul, but as far as ghouls go, he's really kind of fun. He's a fun ghoul, fun ghoul.
America is a shining city on a hill, and for me, and it will continue to be so. And I think that the mere fact that Joe Biden has stepped up to the plate in the way that he has shows that the instincts of America are still very much in the right place.
I'm glad I went back and got this right. I have my YouTube TV set to CNN, and I often tape a lot of news shows, just in case I'm watching the news and I want to go back and use something I saw. Because every time I turn on the news, I can make a video about it. And so I saw the end of this thing, and I was like, I might as well go a little bit farther back, and get the whole thing, get a bigger portion of it. But he just said Joe Biden stepped up to the plate. He stepped up the plate and pooped his Depends, right?
Correct, Monday.
Okay.
And yeah, look, I mean, there were some weird and kind of unattractive scenes back in the
People died. I mean, it was pretty serious.
It was pretty weird. I won't deny that.
Worse than weird. I mean,
looking from the outside, it was pretty weird. But I don't believe that American democracy is under serious threat. Far from it. I continue to believe that America is the greatest global guarantor of democracy and freedom.
Joe Biden talks about the world in terms of autocracies and democracies, and this is the big struggle. You talk about it that way as well. He also talks about the United States as going through that struggle, and he sees Donald Trump as autocratic, as somebody who didn't respect the will of the people, who there are hearings going on right now. I know you're familiar with them, bipartisan hearings about all the ways that Donald Trump tried to undo the election, undo democracy.
Jake, I'm going to take the fifth on this because this is, the convention in.
You don't have a fifth.
Well, I was born in New York, but.
So that was a great exchange because taking the fifth means that you don't want to incriminate yourself, right? And so he took the fifth, and then Jake said, "Hey, you don't got the fifth. We got the fifth." Right? And he points to himself. And so, yeah, I'm saying these guys could be the new Odd Couple. I mean, I'm feeling that Odd Couple vibe from these two powerhouse ghouls, right? I mean, they're both dead inside, but they're still fun. Okay, so a few things here. The fertility crisis is from Bloomberg. The fertility crisis started in Japan, but it won't stay there. A declining population and plummeting fertility rate isn't a unique Japanese phenomenon. All rich countries will contend with this crisis. And they're not even getting into the lower sperm count. And wait till you see that there are women going to have problems with their ability to retain a baby. Young women now who are, I mean, you know, there's a condition here, something that's happened that's going to decrease the number of women who can actually bear children. Male fertility crisis, and so it has declined by 52.4% between 1973 and 2011. I think a lot of that has to do with the internet, Wi-Fi, and some of these other things. And then young men are having erectile dysfunction. And so you're going to see there's going to be very few men who can produce enough sperm to father children. And then with all the social and cultural differences that are going on. And then there'll be very few women who can bear children because of recent events. This is from the New York Times. The sperm count crisis doesn't add up. From The Guardian, falling sperm counts threaten human survival, experts warn. But virtual babies, somebody sent me this, virtual babies who grow up in real time. They have a lot of this going on in Japan. Virtual kids could be the next hot men of universe trend. Virtual children will be commonplace in 50 years. This Tamagotchi kids. These Tamagotchi kids, could the future of parenthood be having virtual children in the metaverse? And so they have these virtual children that, you know, kind of gives you a sort of a simulation of having other kids. Virtual children are a bleak answer to the overpopulation. Virtual Tamagotchi children will give parents real-life experience of raising children. And so this is happening now as well, right? Which is all you need to know. So I know of somebody, like a real-life person, through my wife. My wife knows somebody, basically, who had, you know, has been having double periods, right? There's a lot of blood clotting issues out there. And there are women who are, you know, I've heard, you know, real-life women, not just some thing you hear in the news or rumors that you hear on the internet, that are having problem with their menstrual cycle. And if this is true, we know that men's sperm count is down. We know that there is, you know, just a lot of things going on that are against procreation. And so if all these things are true, like, I don't know, right? Like, I don't believe anything unless I actually see it, and then I don't, you know, like, it's just, everything's so deceptive now. But in this world of information and disinformation, if these things are all true, and it would make sense that they are, because depopulation is going to have to happen because of the economic problems or the economic system becoming so debt heavy that they can't provide for everybody. And then the increase of robot workers and AI workers and the workforce not. I mean, sometimes you need population growth and sometimes you don't. And right now, the system doesn't. And so if all of a sudden it's like the Children of Men movie, which is a very realistic movie. It's one of the movies that's sort of haunting, where, you know, the last child baby born is 18 years old, right? There's been no babies for 18 years, at least that's what everybody thinks. And so, you know, that's going to happen, right? Master Chargy, the third master of the heartfulness system, said, right now the world is overpopulated, but there'll be a time in the future where it'll be very difficult for couples to get pregnant, for women to get pregnant, right? That pregnancy right now is easy, but that always won't be the case. And at the very least, with all the mental energy out there, you know, we're manifesting reality. And pregnancy, getting pregnant, is seen as being something bad for the most part, right? Most people, you know, having kids isn't, you know, as big a deal as it once was. In fact, lots of people don't want to have kids. And, you know, it's seen as you have to give up a lot of things that you enjoy to sacrifice for your kids, and we've become more selfish and entitled. And so there's all of that, right? You know, on the mental, you know, all the mental energy going into, you know, preventing pregnancy or terminating pregnancy or whatever it might be. And so that also is creating a world where it won't be that easy for a woman and a man to conceive a child. And so if that's all true, some year in the near future, there'll be less births than deaths instead of, worldwide, but certainly in America. So whatever the amount of deaths, it's something like 140 million births and 52 million deaths per year in America. Is it that? Is that right? Is that global? I don't know. But it's something like that. And so when that's the case, right, when, it reverses and there are more deaths than births, then you'll see, America will be done as you now know it. And you won't see it right away because the babies are just babies. But then all of a sudden, when those babies are supposed to enter the workforce, you need young people to take care of the old people. And when you're old, your population is old heavy as it is now. And if that gets even worse in the future, America will collapse because the older people need the younger people to fulfill all these jobs and keep society running, right? And we see already the young people don't want to do those jobs. They don't want to work at fast food restaurants and things. And so there are all these jobs that are open, especially after COVID. And so that's like giving you a sign of what's going to happen in the future. And so it's like a slow kill that, it's not like a knockout blow. There just won't be enough young people to keep society going. And they'll have to drastically change. And one of the ways they would have to do something is to reduce the amount of population of the old people. That would have to happen so that there can be some more balance in society. And then there's just all the economic ramifications and all of it. And that's one way that you can make a society tumble is stop having kids, right? And we see that. Birth rates go down and empires collapse. It's one of the things that kills empires, that people have such a luxurious lifestyle, they don't want to give that up by having kids, and the next thing you know, the empire collapses because it's not doesn't have any youth. Youth is the energy. Youth is the future, and so if you don't have babies, you don't have a future. Right? It's that simple. And so we'll see how this all plays out, but the big one. I started this one with the big one. Anyways, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paramano definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.